This is 6-3, Part 2, Transforming Exponential Graphs. Your objective today is that you can transform exponential graphs. This is the warm-up. So for the warm-up today, we are going to determine whether the table represents a linear function or an exponential function and write the equation. Write the linear or exponential in, or write linear or exponential in the blank. Write the equation underneath the table. So in looking at this, first thing I always I guess if you haven't done this yet, go ahead and pause. We will be continuing on as you kind of got. All right. So first thing I always do whenever I kind of do this is I look and I compare and I go, okay, 0 to 1, that's going up by 1. I'm kind of checking my x's and I notice, okay, it increases by the same amount each time, which is pretty standard for whenever you're working with either exponential or linear functions. So that's not really an indicator, but it is important to know. Then I look at the y's and I go, okay, how do I go from 1 to 4? I can go to 1 to 4 by adding 3 or multiplying by 4. Let's see if either one of those kind of patterns holds up for the rest of them. 4 to 7, that's adding by 3. And so, I guess actually there was a jump right here from 2 to 4, so that jumps by 2. And where that applies is I was about to be like, oh, it goes from 7 to 13, which isn't really quite there. That's a difference of 6, but our x value kind of doubled. So if I divide that by 2, I get, oh yeah, there was a plus 3 and then another plus 3. And then from 13 to 16 is plus 3. So because we are adding each time, so add, we added kind of twice there, and add, this is a linear equation. And so what this winds up being, the equation for this, the line, is our slope, which we've kind of already talked about, is our rise over our run, which in this case is our rise is 3 over our run, which is 1. And so I have a slope of 3 x plus my y-intercept, which is 1. All right, let's look at number 2. This time I'm actually going to look at the numbers. Negative 1 to 0, that is plus 1. 0 to 1 is plus 1. 1 to 2 is plus 1. Okay. Alright, so how do I go from 2 to 6? I can go from 2 to 6 by either adding 4 or multiplying by 3. To go from 6 to 18, I multiply by 3. And 18 to 54, I multiply by 3. Now, where this might be a little bit kind of still like need a little review for you guys is that this is the general form, a b to the x, where a is our initial, b is our rate of change, and x is, well, it's just our x. And so I look through it, and where I'm looking for the initial is when x is 0. And so when I look at that, I go and I find, oh, okay, when x is 0, my y is 6. And then what's my rate of change? What am I multiplying by? And in this case, it's 3. And it's all raised to the x. All right, that concludes the warm-up. Have a good one.